one a different kind of big up. This one the original big up. This one going out to all Imperial jungle.
Every man do his thing a little way different. Every man do his thing a little way different. The things I do it in a different way from you. The things you do it in a different way from
Welcome Bitcoin friends, it's Bitcoin Mamo. Today we're going to look at some Bitcoin charts, look at the next possible move. We've just had a decent drop down, and now we're having a bit of a bounce. Just going to look at some possible targets, what I think is going to happen, how I'm trading it. So I might just pull up my current trade. I did get in after the drop a couple of weeks ago at 17,678. Been holding it for a while. It was a 10,000 contract trade. I've sold most of it off. Looking to sell a little bit more here at 23,200 level. And yeah, I've taken a lot of profits on this trade. So I do think we are going lower. We did have this decent drop here. We were at 24,000 and we dropped all the way down to 21.9. So just go through what I think is going to happen. Pull up the other chart. So just a longer term picture here. I do have this trend line with a oblique line, just catching the tops on this run up all the way from 13,000. We can see it's pretty much caught all the tops, and just recently it's caught the tops here as we looked like we were going higher. We can see the wicks here. We got rejected quite hard whenever we've gotten into this zone here that I've drawn. We have had quite a big run up here. We do need a decent pullback. So I do think Bitcoin is going to drop lower. So just zoom in here a bit. So we did have this drop here. Just got this white line drawn showing the drop. Move that down a little bit. And what we can see here, we had this bounce. And we've gone back up to 23.2, and basically what I've drawn here is going to be a AB equals CD pattern. So whenever we get this bounce, sometimes known as dead cat bounce, if we do turn around and go lower, whenever we retrace back to the 61.8 level using the fib retracement, this AB equals CD pattern becomes valid. So I'll just clone this line and we'll do the measured move. We just take the same distance, put it at the top here, at the 61.8 level, and we can see the measured move would take us down to 21,105, and it also lines up with this yellow line here. So just zoom out. We can see going all the way back at the end of November. This yellow line's catching the tops here, also the tops here where we got rejected. We can see we went sideways a bit here at the line, initially got rejected and then carried on higher. So previous resistance usually turns into support on the way back down. We can see this measured move lines up exactly with this yellow line. And just one more thing, if we do the bigger fib retracement here, just taking it from the bottom here, exact, just from this drop here, just before the run up, all the way to the top. And we can see the golden pocket zone here, the 618 retracement, also lines up exactly with this yellow line and the measured move. So we have three things in confluence here. So that makes me think that this is a good likelihood of happening. And that's why I'm selling the rest, not all of it, but the majority of my trade I've already sold on the way up and also in this top range, and now I'm getting out a bit more of the trade just in this zone here. I think it's going to turn around and come back down. There's no guarantees, this isn't financial advice, this is just what I think is going to happen. But when things line up like this, 3 different things, and they all agree, I think there's a higher likelihood of it happening. So that'll take us down to 21,100. And you can see we have gotten a rejection here initially. Had a drop, we've come back up, and now we've opened the new hourly candle here. So just look at some other charts, look at the RSI, look at the stochastic RSI. You can see here I've also got this channel drawn here. This is also catching the tops, and just another few lines here just catching the bottoms. So I think that's the initial move down to 21.2, but we could go lower. But I do think we are going to get a decent bounce there first. This is the futures chart, Bitcoin futures chart. You can see we do have this big gap here. The gaps don't have to get filled, but the majority of the time they are getting filled, and I think even partially filling the gap can class as the gap getting filled. It did attempt to get filled. So we could possibly come all the way down to this white line around 18.7. I do think we'll get that bounce first, and I'll be looking for a trade in that area. We'll pull up the Bybit chart. We'll just look at some stochastic RSIs and RSIs. We have the same measured move here. This is the golden pocket zone. You can see the 61.8. So just looking on the hourly, here we've had this bounce. You can see the stochastics going up now, starting to turn around. And we can see the RSI actually did get quite low on the 1 hour. And we did get this bullish divergence, which initiated this bounce. So the RSI is going up here, and at the same time the price action was going down. We did have bullish divergence led to this bounce. We can see this is a bounce area. When the hourly gets down below this white dotted line, on previous times we have bounced. We'll go to the higher time frame. We can see even though we were going up, we were going down in the RSI. This is on the 2 hour. So we were getting these various divergences here with lower highs on the RSI, higher highs on the price. And we can see it's just winding its way down. It hasn't quite gotten to the white dotted line yet. So I do think there's further to go. This is just on the 2 hourly. And again, you can see we do get quite low usually below this white dotted line. I do think there's more to go to the downside. Whoops. Now we'll look at the 4 hourly. 4 hourly is the same. We've been winding down bit by bit. Also getting these bearish divergences. You can see the stochastics stay quite low. And again, we're only at the 50 level, so there's quite a way to come back down all the way to this white dotted line. And again, you can see this is where we usually bounce as we get around this white dotted line. So I don't think this moves over. That's why I think it's a dead cat bounce. We move up the time frame to the 6 hour. You can see the same thing, winding its way down. Plenty of room to come down still. So the time frames are leading onto each other. The hourly first, it retraces all the way back down. The 2 hourly's on its way, the 4 hour, the 6 hour. They're all backing each other up, which leads me to believe that we are going to have a bigger retracement here. We go on to the 12 hour. You can see the 12 hour is still very high, still at the 68 level, just close to this white line. So it's only just started coming down. And same with the stochastic RSI. Still got time to come down. So at least over the next 20 hours for this stochastic to retrace, maybe another 32 hours. And we'll see this winding down further. We move to the daily. The daily is also still quite high. It does need to have a pullback. Doesn't need to come all the way down to the white line. You can see we quite often bounce in the mid-range. But I will be watching for those other time levels to come down on the RSI, and the daily stochastic is also quite high. I do think these need to cool off a lot more. We need to have this bigger retracement. So that's the measured move here with the golden pocket. I also have an RSI drawn from this level, where the golden pocket would put it down here at 20,080. We draw it all the way to the bottom here, where we had the initial breakout on the daily. That would put the RSI down here. Oh, that's the 20,130. We have three different stochastics drawn here, with 3 different levels. So I think, yeah, this is the first level we're going to hit, and all these things are in confluence. I do think we'll get a bounce here, so we could trade a bounce here, but then we might even go a bit lower. We'll have to look at the RSIs and see how low they are, and if they've cooled off enough. And if we even go sideways while the RSIs cool off more, then perhaps this might be the actual drop level and we might not go lower. But we just have to take it move by move at the moment. If we extend this line, connecting the bottom, that will take us quite low. We do have the 20,000 level, is the close to the all-time high there, so perhaps that will act as support if we do get down to that level, and that would line up with this golden pocket retracement here all the way from the bottom. Go to the hourly. See, we haven't moved much at the moment. It might take a little while to play out. As I said, the hourly is just starting to turn around here. So once this turns around, starts going down, I think we'll get the retracement starting to happen. Just looking on the bigger time frame, this is the weekly chart. Of course, the 21 weekly moving average or 20 weekly moving average both seem to get used. That's all the way down at around 14.4. So it is moving at about $1,000 every week. We do like to retrace to this level. I mentioned this in other videos during the previous bull market. There we go. You can see we like to retrace back to this level quite often before carrying on higher. So perhaps we're just in this area at the moment. We'll hit some of those initial targets and get these bounces, and then have that bigger pullback eventually once the 20-week moving average has moved up a bit higher, perhaps almost to the all-time or the previous all-time high around 20,000. And we can see if that were to happen, it would take maybe 5 or 6 weeks to get up to that 20,000 level. You can see the stock market's having a drop today. You can see the other cryptos having a decent drop as well. And I think because the Aussie dollar is starting to bounce after dropping for quite a while, Bitcoin does tend to do the opposite to the US dollar. You can see the S&P is down 1.6%. pull up some of the EMAs.
Getting you down nice and easy. D-A-R-K.
Oh, baby, listen.
So there's no confluence at the moment with this is a 200 exponential moving average on the 2 hour and the 200 moving average. So these aren't lining up with these points. So I think we'll get a bounce here, but then we'll probably carry lower. Let's look at the 4 hour. So the 200s on the 4 hour. A bounce point usually if we get down to them. That's down at 19,332. But of course these are moving up every 4 hours. Just want to pull up the EMA ribbon. This chart's a little bit messy. So get rid of this fib. So you can see on the 4 hour EMA ribbon, we did get a bounce. We didn't break it yet. I think once we break this, then we're going a lot lower. But again, we will bounce along the way. Go the other time frames. We did break the 2 hour EMA ribbon, but we didn't open a candle completely below it. We have hanged on to it and gone back into it now. Quite often we'll come back up to the top of the ribbon and get rejected and carry lower. And the 1 hour we have broken down to. We've almost gone to the yellow line on the EMA ribbon, which is also a rejection point. But the 4 hours is much more reliable than the lower time frames. And just to show that, you can see here when we broke the 4 hour ribbon, we came back up, we retested it here, and then we got rejected and we carried on lower before we got this divergence here with the RSI here between these points, and then we carried higher. And divergence is much more relevant on a 4 hour than a smaller 1 hour time frame. We did have divergence on the 1 hour time frame in the current drop, but we're looking for that on the 4 hour time frame to get a more reliable indicator of a change in direction. The daily EMA ribbon, currently the top is at 20,667 and the bottom is at 18,000. So I do think this will act as support if we go into it. You can see it has done that previously, all the way up from 10,000. We are getting a bit of a bounce here. I'm going to perhaps do my order. Got close again, but not quite. This is just taking 250 contracts profit off of this. I'll move it down slightly. Oh, there we go. I've picked up $370 US today. Taking profits on this trade. It's up 350%. Getting that at a very good level. Just contemplating to keep some of the position, and when we do drop down, add to that position and still have a lower buy-in. So we can see now we're approaching this 618 level. See what happens if we do break above. It could be wrong and we could carry higher, but I'm seeing too many signs that we are going to carry on lower.
me see the hit man a come. See me say me just can't done. See me see
And
the
getting
hit
quite
man a
close
come.
to it.
See me say me just can't done.
Didn't quite hit it. We can move this line up a little bit now. AB equals CD pattern. You can see it's still in line with the 61.8, a bit more exact now. This is the 61.8 level on the bigger retracement. And there will be people selling this level, trying to short it. See if we break through. Now we're in the golden pocket area. And there's the people shorting. Let's see this battle going on. If we do break above and hold above, then I'll do a different analysis, change my plan. But I still think we are going to have a bigger pullback. Let's just look at those EMA ribbons. You can see we're getting close to the top of the 2-hour ribbon. It's at 23,408.
Blood clot.
So we are just waiting for this pullback here. If you missed the start of the video, I just explained what I think is going to happen. You can see we've had this drop here. This is just on the 5-minute chart. And we're just doing this AB equals CD pattern. So if we take the move here from where we dropped, 24,000 down 21.8. And we've had this, what I believe is a dead cat bounce. We bounce to this golden pocket area. I do believe we're going to turn around and do the same measured move here from this AB equals CD pattern. Let's go back to the hourly chart, it's a bit easier to see. And the measured move here takes us down to 21,000, which also lines up with the golden pocket from the bigger retracement from the bottom here to the top here. So there's two lines of confluence here, and we were also looking at the other chart here. This one shows the drop. Get rid of these EMAs, and just this is the AB equals CD measured move here. Put it back on the hourly. And we can see it also comes down to this yellow line, which also is the tops from the previous price action. And also here we got small rejection, then we broke through. We have three things lining up all at once: this 61.8 retracement, this AB equals CD pattern measured move, and this yellow line with previous resistance should act as support. And again, I think this drop will keep going, but I do think we'll get a decent bounce here, and it's worth trading this bounce. Also have this yellow line here connecting the tops, indicating that perhaps we had topped out here. It's been rejected numerous times. It's about 5, 6, 7, 8 rejections here, so it's quite a strong line of resistance. Again, we could come all the way back down to this white line around the high 18,000 level. So we're just watching for the rejection here. And again on the hourly stochastic RSI, it looks like we're topping out here. So this might take a few hours to play out once this starts coming down. So I am still in this trade, went long from 17,680 and just took some profits here just recently. I have sold most of the trade and I will take more profits down here if this plays out and we break this lower low. And then I will look to get in here, add to my position at around 21,100 because I got a good entry price here. I won't do a massive amount of contracts. It will keep my entry quite low. If I doubled the amount of contracts here, would put my entry around 19.2. There's plenty of room. And then I'll take more profits on the bounce and look for lower targets and do a similar thing. Again, looking at the higher time frames, we see the 4-hour RSI is winding its way down. Still has a lot of room to go to get to these lower levels. You can see we like to get below this white dotted line on the pullbacks, and that's what I think is happening. Because here we did bounce for a while in this mid-range, so I could be wrong, but I think eventually we do need to come back to this white dotted line. And the fact that the other time frames are lining up, you see the 2-hour is winding its way down as well. Got one more drop probably to get to this white dotted line, and the 6-hour is just starting to wind its way down also. Go back to the hourly. Looks like we're testing the golden pocket here again. If I wasn't in the trade, I would look for a short here. Perhaps put my stop loss here above the initial candle, the big candle that dropped around 23.5. So just go for a few more minutes here. I didn't want to make this stream too long. Just see if we happen to break this or get a rejection in that time. I do think it might take a bit longer to play out. You can see the 30-minute stochastic RSI is pretty much topped out, ready to come down. Let's just have a look at smaller time frames. 15-minute is quite high. 5-minute is starting to come down. But the hourly is the one we're watching, looking for another drop here with the stochastic. We did mention this divergence here, the RSI. We had higher lows and lower lows on the price action, and it did lead to this bounce here, which I believe is a dead cat bounce. So that's pretty much played out now. If we did finish higher here on the RSI and the price went lower, that would be a bullish divergence again, and perhaps indicate that we're going to go higher with another bounce.
I know you're gonna dig
this on a 5-minute chart. Perhaps we can do some chart patterns here. Perhaps this was a triangle pattern and was broken up, in which case the measured move would take us up to 23.4. That is only on the 5-minute chart, not as reliable. Could also be in this channel. Just a comparison here. You can see Bitcoin's had this drop in the blue, Ethereum's in the red, and XRP in the green. All had similar drops. And just comparing from the start of December, the price action, we can see Bitcoin's outperforming Ethereum and XRP. XRP had this bigger drop here, bit of divergence. I do think eventually Ethereum is going to have quite a big pump and outperform Bitcoin. So yeah, XRP is down 5%, Bitcoin 1%. And the stock market we're down about 1.4%. Silver's having a bit of a bounce. We'll have to end the stream there. I think this is going to take a few hours to play out to see if we do get rejected. So I just wanted to get that quick analysis in, show you what I think is going to happen. And we'll have to see how it plays out over the next day or two if we do drop lower. If we do break the previous low here, is just on the 1 hour. If we do break lower than this previous low at 21,895, then I think this AB equals CD pattern will play out, and the target is again 21,100. So hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you next time on Bitcoin Memo. Thanks for watching.